Hey, thanks for joining us here on Build a Bond. Firstly, just thank you for your support. We really appreciate it, whether you bought this gift or got it as a gift. Thank you. Just if I can just mention that this is a family project, whether it's a father and son, or mother and daughter, or a father and daughter and a mother and son. This is geared towards the whole family. So please don't use the stereotype that's just for boys. We'd like the whole family to take part and learn. So the whole process here is we're hoping that education will take place, that you'll learn, the kids will learn some carpentry aspects, that there's a relationship building within it. So by doing stuff together, there's that bond, and then also having fun. There's something different, not the usual. So we ask that you take it in that aspect. It's not about building the perfect project, but rather facilitating the learning process and the relationship process. That's what it's all about here. So I'm just going to go through a couple of things. You guys have now obviously bought the stool. This is a mini stool, whether it's used to reach up onto the kitchen counter or just for your feet or whatever. It's got a nice little beginner kit, so that's what you're going to be doing. Your kit will come like this. There'll be a pamphlet with all the measurements and everything on it, and that's obviously what you've been reading, and you got the QR code to this video. So here it is. Besides the pamphlet, this is what you're going to get. Even comes with sandpaper. You're welcome. Yes. So I would suggest sand everything nicely, get all the corners off, make sure you don't get any splinters. And so that's an easy treat. Comes with screws and nails. I would suggest using the screws if you don't have a drill, or then obviously nails are the way to go. But if I can suggest with either or you go, you glue it. Okay, because people underestimate glue. I could take all the screws out of here and it would still go strong for a couple of years because of the glue aspect. So glue really does help there. Right, it even comes with a drill bit. You're welcome. Okay, so I'm going to empty all my screws and whatever I need out here. And then obviously you've got your two legs. I've already pre-drilled them. You would get to the stage where you would, I'll show you how to get to these marks in a minute, but I want to try and make this as short as possible. You've got your two rails, and then you've got your top. So it is a nice idea that you go through with your children, orientate the pieces so they understand where they're going. And then you've got your piece. I'm going to make it that this is my top. You would look at both sides and do it for all your pieces, and make sure that your best side is the viewing side. So plywood has got a nice side and a not so nice side. So you're going to try and make it that you always look for the good side. Okay, so there's that. So I'm just going to give you a couple of tips now, and how I made this really simple for you guys, like really simple. You're welcome. So the best way to mark this is you would line up your edge here. I'm going to show you. You're going to line up your edge. You're going to take your pencil and you're going to mark a line. And then what you'll do is you'll take your rail and you'll make it to that line, and then you'll mark the other side with the top. So that from that edge to there is 18 mils. Wow, it's the same as my piece. Really easy. You don't even have to get your tape measure out. The only place you're going to get your tape measure out is to measure the 25 mils to that hole and the 65 mils to that hole. So it's 2.5 centimeters in, 2.5 centimeters in. We suggest you use mils. Tradesmen, yes, tradesmen, we always use mils because it's more precise. And then you would go to the other side and you would, again, you would line it up on the edge, draw for your line, and then match it to that line, and then you mark it. And then obviously you want your hole to be in the middle of those two lines, which is 9 mils from this, because half of 18 is 9. Yes, you're a good math student. And so we want to make sure that you get it in the middle of this piece. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you here. I'm going to put some screws in here. I'm going to cheat, so I'm going to use my impact driver. It won't take too much of your time. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure that my screws just protrude. Wow. why are you getting them just to protrude? So they're sticking out, so the sharp edge is there. And this is a wonderful trick because it's going to help me orientate. So I'm going to make sure, okay, that's the nice side, that's this side is the nice side. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to line it up with these two holes, those two lines. And I'm going to push it. So now what I've done is with these two pieces that have protruded, I've now marked my holes. Okay. So what I'm going to do is if I can't find my holes, I'm now checking here with the tips. I'm like, okay, there's my hole. So now I'm going to drill it. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to drill this one. Okay. Then it's a case of matching up your hole to your screw. Okay. Now what that's done is you'll notice over here, it is beautiful. It is beautiful and trim. Okay, so you would do the same for this side and that side. And believe it or not, this side. So you do all that same process for those four. So now you would get your base of your stool. Okay, this is my top, so I want to make it all nice. So what I'm going to do is my leg over here is 190 mils or 19 centimeters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure out, and what's half of 19 centimeters? It's 9.5. Okay, so I'm going to make a mark here at 9.5 on my base, and then the top of my bench is 22. So I'm going to mark it at 11. Okay, then obviously I've now marked how far in it must be. Okay, let me have a look here. 4 centimeters. So I would measure 4 in, make my line. Okay, and then all I've got to do is line up this line with that line and make sure that I'm 4 and 4 and 4 and 4. Okay, and then I'm going to make sure that it's all nice and lined up. And once it's all lined up, I'm going to draw my outline, and then I'm not going to move it, I'm going to draw my inline. Okay, so when I take this out, I've now got my lines, and what I would do is it's a halfway, so it's another, in between the lines you'd make your halfway, one screw, and in between those lines you'd make your others according to the measurements on the sheet. I don't know offhand. Okay, then what you would do is you drill them, protrude your screws through, and then line up those lines again and push it on. And then all you'd have to do is take it off, drill that, and the reason we drill our plywood is so it doesn't split. Okay, and then you would screw it from the top. Boom, bada bim. There's your mini stool, and that's how it fits together. So thank you for your time, really appreciate it. Enjoy the project.